This story comes from the pages of Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe One Last Time, issue number 1. Please support the official release. As always, I also wanted to let you guys know that our superhero training program is live. If you're ready to get your confidence back and finally get in the superhero shape you've always dreamed of, you can follow me on Instagram at McGady'sFitness. You can shoot me a message with code SUPER, and I'll send you our free Summer Shredded Spider-Man workout. Here's to your superhero origin story. The story opens where we see the ruins of a fallen society. This was once a thriving world full of heroes. However, that was now a distant memory, as these Avengers were all long dead, slain by one man. This man being Deadpool. Looking over the devastation that he caused, Wade hears a voice behind him. This voice, we discover, belonged to the ultimate ninja himself, Nth-Man, who was one of the very last supers alive and vowed to make Deadpool pay. I had no clue who this guy was until today, but upon a Google image search, I'm in love. Dude basically looks like a Marvel version of Steven Seagal, and I love everything about that. Nth-Man would then open fire on Wade, where the pair would engage in fierce combat. Despite getting in some decent hits, poor Nth-Man steved his last Seagal, where he then charged at Deadpool with his automatic weapons, only for the mercenary to bait the guy right into a trap where he stabbed him right in the head with his katanas. Looking over the dead body of the ninja, Deadpool was then met by yet another voice, which ended up being a mysterious young woman who told the guy that she was a big fan. She then introduced herself to the mercenary, where we learned that her name was Alpha, but her friends called her Alfie. It turns out there was more to Alfie than met the eye, as we learned that it was her who sent Nth-Man to come after Deadpool as she was testing him for something that was of vast importance. Seeing that this was likely a big unnecessary mission of some kind, Deadpool would promptly respond with a cold no, where Alfie then activated a device on her wrist which began to whir with powerful energy, telling the man to reconsider as he hadn't even heard her offer yet. Turns out that this device allowed the pair to dimension hop, where we then see them fly between space and time. Arriving to a world Alfie called her office, we see Deadpool once again refuse this job. Not taking no for an answer, the young woman would persist, telling the man that destiny had something great in store for him. Once more, Deadpool refused, saying he could honestly care less what destiny wants, and besides, the one thing that he did want, he could not have, and that was the sweet embrace of death. Upon completing that sentence, Wade could not believe his eyes as he witnessed a sea of corpses. However, these were not the bodies of the Avengers. They were countless variants of Deadpool himself. Alfie then apologized for the mess, saying that the Deadpool audition process for this mission was quite messy, where Wade immediately interrupted her, saying he would accept this assignment, for he would take anything that maybe, just maybe, would finally bring an end to his miserable existence. I'm not used to my Deadpool stories being so serious. Can we get on with the funny, please? Asking the woman just who he needed to kill, Alfie appreciated Wade's promptness, where she then gave him a device somewhat similar to Cable's watch from Deadpool 2, except this one would allow him to reality slide almost anywhere in the multiverse. It even was able to display a holographic list of all the targets that Deadpool were to eliminate, for all of those individuals posed a threat to all of reality itself. Commencing this virtuous mission, Deadpool's first target would be Spider-Man of all people. However, us eagle-eyed fans would know that by the suit, this wasn't just any Spider-Man. This was Otto Octavius, the superior Spider-Man. As Wade would watch the man from his scope on a nearby rooftop, Alfie would communicate with him through the device, saying that he was less talkative and quippy than his variants, where the man retorted by asking her just where did all of those jokes get them. He would then open fire on the wall crawler, which of course would activate the hero's spider sense, where he'd easily dodge the shots and make his way towards the assassin, where Deadpool said that he knew how to kill Spider-Man, and this was all part of the plan to get him close. Otto would then do what he does best, and that would be to insult the guy with a slew of SAT words just before activating his metal arms, where he then began to brutally attack Deadpool. Initially believing this guy was just another Peter Parker variant, Wade quickly discovered there was more than met the eye here, as this Spider-Man was way more violent than the others, and was actually out to kill. He would then call this guy an evil Spider-Man, where Otto was slightly offended, and told the guy that while he may be ruthless and unrelenting, he was still a hero at the end of the day, and saw an opportunity, which he took. Getting a closer look at his attacker, Superior Spidey would recognize this as Deadpool, but was rather confused as he believed he had already killed the Deadpool of his Earth. He'd then go to quickly rectify the situation by stabbing Wilson directly in the head with his metallic arms, where he'd then toss his lifeless body to the alley below. Believing this job to be done, Otto then swung off, but would note that his spider sense was still going off. Wondering just what this was, we'd see that during the fight, Wade had discreetly placed a bomb on the guy's chest, which then detonated before he could act, resulting in a bloody rainstorm of superior spider chunks to come raining down in front of the freshly healed Deadpool. Alfie would then congratulate the man on a job well done, where he wouldn't waste time with words and demanded a new mask so he could move on with his next assignment. Here we'd see Deadpool go on yet another slaughterfest, which would pit him against the undead Punisher variant Frankencastle, Kraven's daughter Anna, and a demon-possessed Daredevil who led this world's version of the Hand. Despite the great power of these individuals, the mighty Deadpool would use his vast talents to locate each of their weaknesses, where he would soon dispatch them. However, there was something different during these fights. With each kill, Wade would get more lively and talkative in combat, even cracking full-on jokes, such as telling Daredevil he had something in his eye, right before stabbing the dude in the eye right after saying that. "My man, that's very rude to do that to Daredevil. He won't even be around to see this joke." Teleporting to yet another world, Deadpool would then begin to do something he hadn't done in quite some time, and that would be to talk to himself. This being normal for someone of Deadpool standards, Wade was once more met by the voices in his head, who were quite happy to be reunited with their old friend, noting that they had been silenced for quite some time, but were brought back to life after the gracious brain trauma Spider-Man had given Wade after stabbing him in the head. Deadpool would not have a ton of time to celebrate the schizophrenic family reunion, where he'd soon discover that his target on this Earth was a variant of Worldbreaker Hulk. You know, no biggie, just one of the most powerful Hulks to ever exist. Wondering just how the Merc with a Mouth was alive again as he too killed the Deadpool of his Earth, the pair went to war with each other, where Deadpool managed to get on the Hulk's back and stab him, which only irritated the dude, who then slammed him back to the ground. He would then tell Deadpool that the heroes of his Earth took everything from him, and he wasn't going to stop smashing until there was nothing left. Grabbing his battle axe, Hulk closed in on the wounded Wade, but before he could strike, we'd see the giant instantly disappear in a gigantic bolt of energy. Wondering just what the heck happened, Deadpool and his mental roommates figured they would get to that later, but for now, there were more people to kill. He would then activate his multiverse bracelet once more, which would take him to yet another dimension. This one we'd see was still teeming with Avengers, as we'd see powerful heroes such as Thor, Iron Man, Vision, and Captain Marvel, all at war with the colossal giant Terminus. Wade would then note that he was in the golden age of superheroes, where Alfie would then call him, saying that his reality slider was damaged in the Hulk fight, which seems to happen a lot in Hulk fights, where she then informed him that he was in the wrong place. He was now on Earth 616 of all places, the mainline Marvel Universe. Wondering just who he was supposed to kill here, Alfie then corrected the man, telling him that this world was not on his kill list at all. In fact, the goal of this mission was for him to save it.